What's up, everybody? Michael Reeder, CPA here, managing shareholder of Swartz and Reeder Advisors, a CPA firm for small businesses and individuals, a CPA firm with a niche, working in the franchise industry and working with business buyers. Welcome to our YouTube channel, another episode with yours truly, Michael Reeder. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your network. We're here providing great value all the time. And today is no exception. I have with me a guest who is just an amazing individual. I've gotten to know him over the last year plus. It's been such a pleasure. Adam Baker is here, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Baker is with a franchise called Schooley Mitchell, which does a lot of cool things and a lot of parallels with a lot of synergy, what Adam and Schooley Mitchell does with what me and Swartz and Reeder Advisors does as a CPA firm. So would love to just introduce all of y'all to Adam. And today we're gonna get into cost mitigation, and we're just gonna dive deep into it. And there's just lots of stuff to unpack here, lots of value. So enjoy, everyone. So Adam, what's up, buddy?
Michael, thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here. So you are out of Pennsylvania, correct?
I am, the beautiful city of Erie. So we get about 7 blue sky days a year. Today is one of them.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Now, are you born and raised there, or is that just where you and the family are now?
No, my wife and I moved here about 12 years ago. I grew up all over the US. I would probably say Western Pennsylvania is my home. Grew up north of Pittsburgh. That's where I went to high school. Left for the service. And then when we were getting out, my wife said, "Hey, if we get out of the service, you can move anywhere you want. You pick where we go." And I said, "I just want to get back to where I can watch Steeler games." So, and anywhere along Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio. And we found an opportunity in Erie. I'd never been there before. So we went ahead and planted roots, and we absolutely love it here.
Amazing. Good for you. Speaking of Steelers, didn't Ben Roethlisberger retire recently?
He did just retire, probably a year or two too late. He phenomenal for our franchise, but he stuck around maybe just a little bit too long.
Yeah, well, I mean, Roethlisberger, I mean, what a legacy. And everyone, by the way, we talk, we're very, very casual at Swartz and Reeder YouTube channel. We talk about, I'm a sports junkie, so I may go off on tangents here and there. I'm a big White Sox fan and Chicago Bulls fan, Chicago Bears fan. Ben Roethlisberger, I just remember coming out of high school. I graduated in 05. And it was that 05 season where did they beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl?
It was, yes.
That was Jerome Bettis, right? Jerome Bettis, like Matt Stafford should pull a Jerome Bettis right now. Get your ring and retire. Like that's what the bus did. Like Tom Brady's do not come around often, but then the 08 Super Bowl, Roethlisberger and the Steelers versus old boy Kurt Warner and the Arizona Cardinals. Was it Kurt Warner, right? Did I get it?
It was Kurt Warner, yes.
The Rams quarterback, the greatest show on turf, back in 2000, 2001 with like Isaac Bruce and Marshall Faulk. Then he had like a renaissance year in 08, but then the Steelers defense just crushed his soul in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, ran back the interception. I believe it was 99 yards. They ran back the interception.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then who was that crazy linebacker? I mean, you guys had Troy Polamalu, but was it Harrison? Was that? Yeah, Harrison was a monster in those years.
Yeah.
And I just remember Roethlisberger.
He was so different than the prototypical because he was small. He was just compact, but that he played that to his advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember James Harrison was just an absolute beast, and then my memories of Roethlisberger. I mean, 2 Super Bowl rings, right? It was only 2, right?
Correct.
But only 2, right? Like only 2. Like a lot of people are lucky just to get 1. But he just always had presence in the pocket. He always had presence in the pocket, just a monster. And yeah, maybe he did stay around for like 1 or 2 years too long, but what a great career. And Steelers, what a great franchise. We're not even talking about like the the Terry Bradshaw. Who was the running back when Terry
Franco Harris?
Franco Harris. Yeah, Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris. Those, I mean, it was already, I mean, such a I mean, I hope that the Steelers, like, so who's waiting in the wings as quarterback now? Like, who's us Bears, we have Justin Fields. We'll see how that goes. But, like, who do you guys have now?
Yeah, to be honest, I can't even remember his name. He had an opportunity to start when Roethlisberger went down with his elbow surgery, and he ended up losing that to a third string quarterback. And then we've got Haskins that we picked up from Washington. They let him go. He's a former first rounder that they're trying to mold, but I really think that they're going to end up pulling something out of the draft. The draft has a few good quarterbacks in it, nothing that's, super high level, but they've got a few good quarterbacks in there. I would only assume that the Steelers are going to go after one of them. I'd love to see him go after Kenny Pickett just because he was a Pitt guy. I'm a Pitt guy. I'd love to see him stay in Pittsburgh. But, one thing that you mentioned about Roethlisberger, and, I said this, you talked about his presence in the pocket, and I talked about him sticking around too long. That was his whole thing. If you remember Roethlisberger, how big he was, he wouldn't let go of that ball. He would stick around in there, but he would shrug guys off, and he would extend the plays. And that was like one of the keys to his success. And he applied that to his career. He stuck around on his career, hoping to extend it. And when you look at this season, he had quite a few fourth quarter comebacks that pulled out wins that the Steelers had no right to win. So him just sticking around, there's something to be said for that mentality of, I'm just going to stick around. I'm going to fight through this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember him doing that when he was at Miami of Ohio, right? Like, that's where he went to school. I remember, like, Roethlisberger, Miami of Ohio, always just like sticking around. He's got like defensive tackles, like linebackers, like grabbing on him, and he's just at the very last second just like dumps it off to like the running back or the tight end for like a 5-yard pass to get the first down, and just like when everyone's thinking that he's going to get sacked. Roethlisberger, I mean, great quarterback, great career, and Tomlin's a great coach. The Steelers are a heck of a franchise. So Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, if you're listening, Adam and me, we're coming for your job over there at ESPN, because we can definitely do this, right? So
which one of us is going to be the shouter?
Oh man, I guess it depends on which day of the week, right? We'll take turns. Awesome. Well, I mean, Adam, you got that Schooley Mitchell logo. And by the way, great background there. I love, they got the man walks on the moon photo. You've got some other stuff there that I can't see. But I'm sure that it's cool, and like they all got a cool backstory. But let's for the audience, what is Schooley Mitchell? What is what is Schooley Mitchell? Like, give us the story.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss it. But Schooley Mitchell is North America's largest cost reduction consulting firm. So it's a franchise system, and it's based all across North America. And what we really do is we look to go into businesses, look at what they're paying for their essential services, and then find a way to save them money on that. And we do that through a multitude of ways. One, we learn about the business and how they operate, and then we look at what they're paying, and we make sure that those two things match up, because a lot of times when you look at someone's operations, they're paying for a lot of services they don't need. And so one of the first things we want to do is we want to make sure we optimize that, get rid of the stuff that they don't need, that they'll never use. The next thing we do is we scour their invoices for any billing errors they may have. There a lot of times we'll find that they're paying for things they thought they got rid of years ago that they're still paying for just because they didn't realize it was on there. So we'll do that. The third thing we do, which is probably what we're best known for, is we have a team of analysts that live, eat, breathe the vendor marketplace. Their responsibility is to know exactly what's going on in the marketplace, to know what are the best rates, what are the lowest rates that vendors will accept. And what we do is we go and we negotiate on our client's behalf to get those rates much lower. And so when you add those things together, we're lowering the vendor bills by about 30%. And so we really love that, because that's 30%. We're not increasing revenue by 30%. That's pure profit. That's profit that was going out the door that we're able to put back into our clients' pockets. That way, if they need to invest in new machinery, right now, I know a lot of folks are using that to invest in benefits for employees. That way they can hold on to employees or be competitive in the marketplace. So that's what we do, is we just try to find ways to get that money out of the vendor's hands and back into our clients' pockets.
Got it. Yeah, it's amazing how much companies just spend on stuff that they really don't need, or that or they need it, but they're overpaying for it.
Yeah, and it's not their fault, because they focus on what they're good at, which is their operations. And when you're in a company and you're thinking, okay, what are my priorities? My priorities are customers. My priorities are revenue. My priorities are my personnel. And then somewhere down the line, way down the line, is my cost controls on my vendors. And when you look at everything that's going on, you're trimming the fat. Where can I save time? What things can I not do that will still be able to get by on our operations? And vendor costs are one of them. You can do nothing with it, and you'll still get by on your operations. And so that's why there's so many companies out there that just don't really focus on it.
Right. As the expression goes, it's not what you make, it's what you keep.
That's exactly it.
And anything, and any business owner, I mean, for all you that know me, that I'm an entrepreneurial CPA. I own multiple businesses. Adam owns a business as well. For us business owners out there, like anything that we can do to improve the bottom line, whether it's revenue generation or cost reduction, then an extra dollar in revenue is the same. An extra $1 in cost savings is the same effect of an extra dollar in revenue. If anything, a dollar in cost savings is actually more, because usually an extra dollar in revenue comes, like, it's implied that, like, in order to generate that extra revenue, there's going to be some cost needed into generating it. And so, but if you can save a dollar in cost, that's going to have more of an improvement on the bottom line in that vacuum right there. So Adam, like, what are some examples of common expense categories, like types of vendors that, you and your Schooley Mitchell team go after and really, find the savings for your clients?
Where we find our most success and what we are the best at are telecom, whether that's your landlines in your office, your conferencing, or your wireless in your internet and data plans. So we've got the telecom, shipping, merchant processing. So if you accept credit cards, we find rate savings on there. Waste, utilities, fuel, and then we're getting into software as a service. We already started during COVID. E-signatures skyrocketed, and people are way over provisioned on, either they're over provisioned on e-signatures, paying more than they need that they'll never use, or they're under provisioned and now they're getting charged fees on top of it. So we started looking at e-signature to see how can we optimize that. And now we're going to start moving into Salesforce licenses and Microsoft Office licenses to make sure that those are optimized for our clients. So those are the categories that we've really found that we can do the best in. And again, we're pulling on average 28% savings for our clients.
Wow, that's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. What is an optimal client, in the context of revenue size, I mean, whether it's revenue size and or industry? For example, that solopreneur that's a freelancer working out of his or her home office, that they're a consultant and they're bringing in $75,000 of revenue, they're just a solopreneur. They have 1 or 2 or 3 consulting gigs. Is that, I mean, can you help that person? Maybe, but is there really a business that's doing revenue of at least 500,000 or $1 million plus, where do those revenue, where are you and your team really helping out clients in terms of how big they are in the context of revenue? And maybe I have it completely wrong. And then also what sorts of industries are more just prime for you and Schooley Mitchell to provide value than others?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So with revenue, it's kind of funny because we actually look at, from my perspective, I look at what is the size of the business from both a physical presence and employees. So if they have between 10 to 250 employees, somewhere in there, they're using our services that we can help them on. So if they have 10 to 250 employees, we know we can help them on telecom because they're communicating some way or another. If they have 10 to 250 employees, they've got waste. We know that we can help them somewhere on there. If they've got that many employees, utilities is a lot harder to negotiate in some states because they're still regulated. We can't really get involved with that. But if they're on the higher side of the employees, typically we can look at their utilities. And then really it's industry specific on the shipping and the merchant services if we can help them. It's funny because those one-person shops, they might be running an Etsy shop that is just out of control, and we can help them on their shipping there and their merchant services, though they wouldn't fit the normal demographic of what we look for.
Got it. And like, so for like when you say employees, like does it matter if it's like W-2 and 1099? Like for this purpose, it doesn't matter?
Well, I would think it does, only because 1099, you're probably not paying for their wireless bill. If they have wireless, you're probably not paying for phone lines or a desk for them. It's more probably on them. So W-2 employees certainly, but that's not to say we're business or we're industry agnostic. We can help anyone. And so I've got a guy who I'm helping. He's got are 1099 employees. He doesn't but we're still able to help because we're helping him on his shipping and his merchant services.
Right. Got it. Very cool. Like what sort of industries do you find yourself, working with more than, I know you said you're industry agnostic, but are there certain industries that you've found a lot of success in to date, in your own experience?
Yeah. So one industry that we found that we've been very successful in is the auto dealership industry. And the reason is because they hit a lot of the services that we do. Because of the benefits that get offered on credit cards, a lot of people are now putting down payments on cars on their credit cards. And so what normally would have been a check for say a $5,000 check for a car dealership, now it's a $5,000 credit swipe. Well, if that dealership is paying a 3% rate, they're losing 3% of that $5,000 right off the top. And so, it's been very lucrative for us to be able to go in there and find better rate savings for them. They also, the larger car dealerships have a maintenance department. Those maintenance departments are good because people are paying with credit cards, but also that there's a lot of shipping involved in there. So we're able to get involved with there. And then just across the blueprint, they have a lot of telecom needs that we can get inside and try to help them. Absolutely.
Got it. So what's what's Schooley Mitchell's genesis story? Like how long has Schooley Mitchell been around? Has it always been in did it start out in some other sort of industry or service and then now it's in cost savings, or has it always been in cost? I'm curious to hear the backstory of Schooley Mitchell as a company.
Yeah, it's funny. So Dennis Schooley, one of the founding partners, he partnered and created a CPA firm. And so they were doing,
Dennis. My condolences to you, Dennis. I'm just kidding.
but he and his partner, as they were building up their firm, their telecom expenses kept going up and up and up. And so they spent a lot of time diving in to figure out, how do we reduce these costs? And so they kind of cracked the code on reducing the cost for them. And they started adding that as, an additional service for their clients. And what they realized was two things: that it was a lot more fun than their CPA service, and it could be more lucrative. So what they did is, as they got better at the telecom piece, they started doing less and less of the standard CPA process. And then they eventually shut down the CPA firm entirely and focused purely on telecom. As they were looking at telecom, the credit card processing was often tied into it. So they went ahead and started taking that into consideration, looking at that. And then over the years, they went ahead and they introduced a few more expense categories, such as the shipping and the waste and the utilities. So they've been around. They started in 1998. So they've been around for almost 25 years now. And one of the things that I really love about Schooley Mitchell is, they don't look at everything. They look at, when we get a client and we look at the expenses, we only look at certain ones. And that's a strategic decision that Dennis has made. And then he said, we want to be the very best at doing this. And so we don't want to do a ton of them that we'd be mediocre in. We only want to do the few that we know that we can be the absolute best in. And so that's what we've been able to do.
Incredible, incredible. Pop quiz, 1998, who was the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback? Was it Charlie Batch or was it someone else?
No, I believe it was Mike Tomczak.
Mike Tomczak. Wow. That's a blast from the past right there. And everyone, that's how you know that you're talking to a real Steelers fan right there. I think Charlie Batch was maybe on the Lions at that time, or who knows, but Mike.
Yeah, I think he would have been on the Lions at that point.
Yeah, awesome. We have a Steelers themed episode today, everyone. If you haven't picked up on that, and don't forget, click on that subscribe button below. Lots of great content coming at you from me and Swartz and Reader Advisors. Talking with guests like Adam Baker. So. And Schooly Mitchell. So you brought up something, Adam, that I want to unpack, which is so true. In terms of, so Dennis, so his name is Dennis, right?
Correct. Dennis Schooley.
Dennis Schooley. In 1998, they start doing, they have a CPA firm, and they start as a supplementary service in addition to the standard, CPA services, like I'm assuming, compliance, like tax prep, payroll, sales tax, and bookkeeping, and maybe they did audits, all the standard stuff that a CPA for, now they start helping clients with their cost savings. And so, I'm a CPA, and me and my team over at Swartz and Reader Advisors, we are always working with our clients for those, with those traditional CPA services that anyone would expect in the context of tax planning and tax compliance and payroll, sales tax, bookkeeping, et cetera. But the typical client psychology knows that taxes is something that's important. It's a commodity service. Like filing taxes is something that you have to do no matter what. And tax planning, is a very interesting conversation that clients are often interested about. But taxes to the average person out there tend to be this thing that people have to take care of because it's required by law. But what really gets people but the typical client out there is really mainly what really opens up their listening, what really piques their interest more is cash flow and profitability. Taxes, while very, very substantive and very important and very appealing and a very important thing that clients want to talk about, of course. When you really start talking to any client about improving their bottom line, improving cash flow, improving profitability, that's what, that is really what people want to hear. And tax strategy and how it plays a role in and how your overall tax strategy plays a role in reducing taxes, right? In that context, like tax is a cost. And if you can reduce your taxes, then that's a cost savings right there. And so, I could definitely see, I can put myself in Dennis Schooley's shoes in 1998. Mike Tomczak is, flashback to 98. Tomczak is, the quarterback for the Steelers. And Dennis Schooley is in an office somewhere, and he's probably getting frustrated, not frustrated, but he has this serendipitous moment where he realizes that, him and his partner realize, this, supplementary service and I'm not surprised and good for them. And look what it's manifested into Schooly Mitchell. Incredible. Because I can see they probably got a lot of positive feedback from their clients because that's really what clients are interested in. What can you do for me? Taxes in addition to this, I can just see that wow moment that he was experiencing over and over again with clients back then.
Yeah. In a good, it makes sense, the segue, because a CPA obviously sees all the finances going on, and the CPA is a strategic partner of the business, right? You're having, and Michael, just from talking to you, I've learned it as a business owner, before I make decisions, I want to talk to you. Because you can't, it's very hard for you to help me after I've already done something, but you can certainly guide me beforehand. And so as a CPA, you see a lot of things that the business owners may not see. And I'll give you a really good example of a client that we just helped recently. So a client had purchased another location. They purchased another business with another location in it. And when they tried to optimize their services, it came with 300 wireless phones with it. Okay, so there's 300 employees, wireless phones. So they tried to optimize the service and they said, hey, we were able to save $12,000, right? So they immediately made that part of their business more profitable by $12,000. They asked us to come in, we optimized it. We found them another $100,000 by further optimizing it. So they paid X amount for this business, and without doing anything other than fixing the cost on it, they just made $112,000, right? And so that's the value in when Dennis started this, he could see, okay, I'm a CPA, I see what my clients are doing. I can help them, if I can get to them before they sell the business, I can essentially improve I can increase the cost of that business because I'm going to improve the value of it. If afterwards, if somebody purchases the business and they come talk to me, then he's like, I know I can help them because I can immediately make it more profitable for them. So when you say that having that foresight, I agree with you 100%. He did a great job recognizing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to all you listeners out there, I mean, what would you do as if you're a business owner, what would you do with an extra $100,000 of free cash flow for your business? I know one thing, you would sleep better at night. That's for sure. Right. I mean, every dollar counts, and just, a lot of our audience at Swartz Reader Advisors, Adam, are small business owners. And I mean, I'm a small business owner, and an extra $100,000 without having to, sweat like generating extra top line revenue in that context. In order to generate an extra 100,000 in bottom line, you probably have to, hypothetically have to generate like an extra 130 or 150,000 in revenue. But just like that, having your, like, what do you call your back office team that's like, just like scouring over like vendors? Are they like underwriters? Like what do you call your back office team?
My analysts.
Analysts. Yeah. I mean, just having these analysts just pounding the pavement, just comparing vendor costs, and like having this whole inventory of like vendors out there. And like, just like that, you bring in Schooley Mitchell, you bring in Adam, and just like that, 100,000 plus improvement to the bottom line, absolutely critical to any business, especially small business owners. That's awesome, man. So Adam, tell me, like, how do you get paid for this? Like, how does Schooley Mitchell get paid for this? Do you have like a flat rate consulting fee, or like, how does it work?
We do, but most of the time we work on a performance basis. What we do is we take on all the risk analyzing the invoices for our clients. And we say, here's the deal, right? If we look at your invoices and we find you no savings at all, you don't owe us anything. We eat that, right? If we do find savings and you say, yep, Adam, I want you to implement them, then what we do is we share no savings 50-50, right? What we're asking from them is, about 2 hours worth of their time to get the invoices. After that, my analysts run with it and they do all the work. And then what we do is we just share in that savings for 50%, 50-50 for the next 36 months. During the next 36 months, what they have is they have my team that's making sure that, one, there's no billing errors. Two, that we're going to continue to go back and look for better rates, because there's oftentimes during those 36 months that we're able to find even better rates. And we say, hey, we found you more savings. Great job. And then the other thing is, when there are any issues or they want to implement something new, instead of having to call and wait on hold and have to deal with that, they call me and I have my team of analysts do it. So if they're having issues with their cell phones, they call us and I'll have my team of analysts run that through for them, so they don't have to worry about it. They focus on their operations. They focus on what makes them money.
Awesome. So, it really is intriguing, because to the business owner client, they don't have to come up with anything out of pocket up front. It seems to be more of a contingency structure where, and I think contingency is the right word. you know, I mean, you are only getting paid. The client is only paying for the service. It's coming out of the savings. It's paying for itself.
Correct. Yeah. And what I like to say is you're already paying for my service. You're just not getting any benefit from it. The money's going to the vendor.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, man. I mean, it's just, there's, you know, I mean, there's just there's a lot of value here to small business owners. How do you approach, how do you approach a small, I don't want to say small, any business owner, how do you approach a business owner and articulate? I mean, we live in this world, especially here in America, where it just seems like, you know, as a consumer, we whether we're a business owner or a non-business owner, we're always getting a bunch of emails and phone calls and this and that. And how do you break out of the noise? And when you are trying to when you're articulating, you know, how you can improve the life of a client, how do you break through the noise?
That's a great question. So a lot of people that are watching this, Michael, have probably never heard of cost reduction consulting, right? Because it's not something that's marketed. It's not something that's advertised. People aren't going to Google it, right? So the way we get our business is by getting referrals from our clients, which means that we are heavily dependent on providing success and savings to our clients that they want to go brag about us and put us off to their friends. So that's really, you know, instead of sending the endless, tireless emails and, you know, trying to cold call where people are like, Adam, I don't know you and I'm not going to show you my bills. What's going to happen is they're at a social event and they're going to say, hey, you know, you got to talk to my guy, Adam. He's going to save you money. And if he doesn't save you money, at least you're going to have peace of mind knowing that you're paying the best rates out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really just, you know, maybe it starts out a little slow just because you're really working that organic network, and word of mouth at scale takes some time. But with that being said, it's a much better success rate than anything that's a cold call or a cold email. Absolutely. I mean, if you're getting that warm intro to someone from someone that you know, then I can definitely see how, you know, that, and then at scale. So I can see, you know, for someone at Schooly Mitchell like yourself, you know, if you in your first couple of years, it may take a while to build that up, but then, you know, in years 3 to, you know, 10, you can really build a nice little empire for yourself.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And it's going out there because you're right. So at the beginning, you don't have that massive client base that you can lean on. But what's beautiful about Schooley Mitchell is that, you know, I'd love to say I'm the analyst and I know all of it. I'm not. You know, the team of analysts, they're the same people that work for me as they do for the franchise owners in Colorado as they are for New York, right? So when someone comes to me, it's not like, oh, Adam's only been around for a little bit. He doesn't know a whole lot. I'm not the one doing the analysis. It's my team that's doing the analysis. And so What I'm able to do is say, hey, you know, I know you just met me, but here, let me show you some of the testimonials from other clients that are just like you that we saved them money. So if you're a manufacturer, I've got a litany of manufacturers that we've saved them, you know, 40% off of their waste bill. Let me show you some of these guys, and that's what we can do for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're like Ben Roethlisberger, but you got your whole O-line, you got your running back, your wide receivers, you know, the analysts are like the O-line, you know, they do all the dirty work and get, and Adam takes all the credit. No, I'm just kidding. But,
and if I can say one thing, my analysts are the O-line from about 4 years ago. They aren't the 2021 O-line of the Steelers, just so everyone's aware.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So what is your, so are you hitting up the local chamber commerce event? Are you going through your how are you reaching out, you know, how are you drumming up your organic word of mouth referrals?
Yeah, through a lot of networking events and getting to know folks. You know, it's very funny. We had a client that we worked through, and I met with him probably 5 times. We sat down and finally just we weren't able to do anything for them. And he appreciated so much what we did, even though we didn't save many money, that he and I sat down and he gave me a list of 20 of his clients that he wanted me to contact because he thought I could save them money. And so I called them up and they're like, yeah, you know what, we'll go ahead and do this. So even if I can't do anything with them, I build that relationship to the point where people say, you know, I know there's value in what you do. And I know you're a good guy too. So I want to introduce you. So that's one of the ways. The other way is I do presentations for associations. Like I just got off the call today with the nonprofit partnership and showed them the presentation that I can put on for their team. And what it is it's a presentation of, these are all the ways that you can save money, right? You don't need me. You know, for most of it, you can do it yourself. Now, knowing what the best rates are, you do need me, but a lot of it, it's just paying attention. And so I'll tell you everything that you need to do that. I know that they're not going to do it because they're way too busy, but at least they have the knowledge that if they want to find the time, they can do it. But if not, they can call me and I can come work for them. So doing presentations for associations is a really good way for me to kind of get my name out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, you know, so everyone, you know, I've known Adam for a while now, and he's really been, you know, like he's gotten me sold on Schooly Mitchell so much. You know, if you know me and Swartz and Reader Advisors, you know, we're committed to being a CPA firm that's more than just that place that you go to get your taxes and your bookkeeping done. Do we do that stuff? Of course, but we are all about being proactive. We are all about doing more than simply just file last year's taxes and help me with bookkeeping. And so we are being more and more proactive every day, week and month with our advisory services, with our CFO services. And, you know, I feel like I'm like a young Dennis Schooley almost, like with, you know, like, so everyone, like what me and Adam are collaborating on, we are collaborating on an affiliation where, you know, we are going to be reaching out integriously to clients of Swartz and Reader Advisors, to our network, to our mutual network of franchisors out there. And you know, I mean, there's a lot of value here. And if you're a business owner, I mean, like we're going to explore some stuff that Adam and Schooly Mitchell can help with Swartz and Reader Advisors ourselves. I know that I got a lot of people that are like, you know, using the business lines and stuff like that. Let's at least, you know, but me and Adam, everyone, we've been talking about this a lot, and we're going to be rolling out this affiliation. So, you know, coming to, you know, if you're a Swartz and Reader Advisors client and you're a small business owner, you're wearing multiple hats and you're super busy and with work and life and family and kids and work and waking up at 5 o'clock and this and that, chances are there are some expenses on your income statement that can get reduced. And we're going to be looking at that. Adam and his team are going to be looking at that. And so, you know, I am so excited, Adam, to be joining forces, to be affiliating with you and Schooly Mitchell. Such a great service that you provide business owners. It's a no-brainer, in my opinion. And so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for this collaboration, for this affiliation, and I know that a lot of our audience, a lot of our business owner clients are going to be thrilled with it as well. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to affiliate with you and Schooly Mitchell on this, because it's all about providing value and being proactive, and taxes is one thing, but cash flow and profitability is another. And that's really what clients care about. So I'm fired up, Adam. I really am.
And that's why I was excited when you and I had the discussion about doing it, because, you know, everyone who knows Michael, he is 100 miles an hour all day, every day. And that's the kind of guy I love to be with, because it's constantly moving, constantly, okay, let's keep getting better. But what I also love about Michael is he really cares about businesses, right? It's not about, okay, let me get this client under my belt so I can stamp it and then move it on, right? No, he's like, hey, Adam, what can we do to actually help these clients? What can we do to make them better? And that's what I absolutely love, because, you know, it's the long game. It's really the long game. What can we do to really help them? You know, there's stuff you can do in the short term, but what can you really do to help them in the long term? And that's what I love about working with you. And I'm excited for it as well.
Well, Adam, thank you, brother. The feeling's mutual. And, you know, I mean, that just so powerful what you just said right there. And I'm just gonna, speak some real talk right here, to the audience. I now own the CPA firm that hired me out of college, or I'm 35 years old. And I know, like, I've learned a lot, like, I've lost over 100 pounds over the last 3 years, like lots of anxiety, being a bit like, and stress and back pain and being overweight, and like all, like, business ownership can eat you alive. I'm starting to go bald at age 35, but whatever, there's a difference between working on your business and working in your business, right? And owning a business, being a business owner is not easy. Okay, it's actually hard. You can look at the statistics out there. Most business owners fail. I don't mean to be grim, but if you're for all the business owners out, some of you are going to fail. Maybe it's just, but why do businesses fail? Why do businesses fail? That's one thing that drives me as a business owner. That's what drives me over at Swartz and Reader Advisors, the advisor to hundreds, if not 1,000+ businesses out there across the country. Why do businesses fail? And so, I recognize that there's all the studies out there. Studies show a CPA is the business owner's most trusted advisor. But how many CPAs out there? How many accountants out there? Have their practice where they just monetize their practice with just filing last year's taxes and bookkeeping. Because if that's you as an accountant, if that's you as a CPA, chances are you're not your client's most trusted advisor, or you're in a position to be, and you're not taking advantage of that. And something that I have just, like, what's really important to me is, not only do I want to make sure that I continue to, survive and to thrive as a business owner, and more thrive, right? I don't subscribe to this theory of, business owners, the life of a business owner is this heroic story of suffering and trying to make payroll once every 2 weeks. And you're your own boss and everything like that, but you work these crazy hours, and your relationship with your spouse and your kids is strained because you're always working and you're stressing like crazy. I don't subscribe. There is a point, maybe there's a certain phase during ramp up, or if you're, you got more, you got to ramp up, you're starting from zero. I get it, but then to go to the next level, and to the next level, and to the next level, and to break away from working in the business always, owning a job and getting out of that, and then going to the next level, because this is where the magic happens. This is where the abundance happens. And working on your business is an exercise in developing standard operating procedures, and developing systems and processes, and training team members, and having those team members train other team members, and to have your business work for you, as opposed to you to be a slave to your business. And so, it's these types of affiliations that like this affiliation that Swartz and Reader Advisors is in the process of rolling out with Adam and Schooley Mitchell, is because there's a value to provide here to a business owner, and constant improvement, no matter what. If there's if we can, in addition to everything else that we're doing, if we can help a business owner out there save, to Adam's example earlier, an extra $100,000 to their bottom line, just so they can switch a vendor from one, telecom provider to another, that is huge. That doesn't, there's no guarantees in life, right? There's no guarantees that you're going to be successful in business, for the next 10, 15, 20 years, but it's an exercise in doing, making a bunch of decisions, that each individual decision increases your chance of success. Nothing is guaranteed, but if you as a business owner keep making a bunch of micro decisions, and each of those micro decisions plays a role in increasing your chance as being successful as a business owner in the long term, then that increases the chance that you will be in business. This time next year, March of 2023, still in business. March of 2024, still in business. March 2025, still in business. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then to, even go next level, to have your business as this thing that a buyer might want to come to approach you one day and say, hey, Adam, or hey, Mike, or hey, person A or person B or person C, I see what you've built here and I'll pay you X for it. Holy smokes, you know, and buyers out there, like biz buy sell, like more than 80% of the businesses on biz buy sell that are listed on there, like don't sell. And the reason is because a lot of people own business, they own jobs, they don't own businesses. And so, you know, I am obsessed with constant improvement, like you know, for myself as a human being, but also like with everything that I do in my life, with this, like between now and the day I die, like the constant improvement. I'm better today than where I was this time last year, but not even close to where I'm going to be this time next year. Constant improvement. And to just keep, I want to just in the most integrous, ethical way, just overwhelm my network. And people that know me know that it's all like, you know, I come with that powerful energy, but like, you know, like I'm so proactive to just, you know, and if certain things apply to you, you know, then if they don't apply to you, then like Adam was saying, like, hey, like if he comes back and there's nothing, then at least you have the peace of mind of knowing that you're paying the lowest cost for everything. But I am committed to doing everything I can, not only for my business, but for my clients, you know, to really earn their respect as their trusted advisor, because that's what it's all about. Are we going to do taxes and bookkeeping? Of course, you know, advanced tax planning, of course, you know, but you know, what about that forward thinking? What about improving cash flow, improving profitability, all these things? Because again, nothing's guaranteed, but like all of these things are small micro decisions that you can do as a business owner, you know, that me and Adam can advise you as a business owner that are going to increase your chance. And you do enough things that increase your chance, then chances are you're going to be in business and successful long term. And you own your business doesn't own you. So you know, I mean, Adam, anything to add? I know I was just on my soapbox right there. You just really like you just like sparked something inside of me that just really got me emotional almost. I'm so passionate about it.
No, and I just want to give some evidence-based experience about your passion. So Michael, you were my CPA, you know, you were referred to me and I was like, you know, you and I met on a call and I'm like, yep, I like this guy. Right. So I had started my business and I'd been in business for maybe a month, and you set me up on a call with a couple guys that they were talking to me about, Adam, this is what you want to think about when you go to sell your business. Okay, Michael, I had only been in business for a month, and you were my CPA, and you had the foresight to say, Adam, I want to set you up with these guys, because that planted a seed that, and it was exactly what you said. You don't want to own a job, you want to own a business, because when you go to sell it, nobody wants to buy your job. They want to buy your business, right? And I was a month into business, and you set me up with these guys to plant that seed that, okay, my goals, because literally after that meeting, my thought process changed to, okay, I don't want to just, you know, run this business and do really well. I want to get to the point where I have someone else running this business and I can sit back, because when I sell it, I want to sell the whole thing, you know? And so when you talk about, you look, you know, being more than just a CPA and taking care of the taxes and everything, and you do that, and you do it great, but really considering the whole business, that story should tell everybody that that's exactly how you feel. Like literally, I was 1 month into it, and you're like, okay, I know there's value here. I want to get Adam in touch with these guys just so he has this in his mind. And so that's what I love about you.
Well received, Adam. Thank you so much. And, you know, the feeling's mutual. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for the relationship that we already have. And I'm so excited about continuing it. And we'll end on this, everyone. You know, a lot of what Adam and I are talking about here as a business owner, right? Just everything that you do as a business owner, just keep, you know, what is the why, right? WHY. What is the why? Ask yourself the why every morning and every, you know, middle of the day, like constantly at night, like while you're taking a shower, while you're doing that, while you're driving, like what is, like, why are you in business? Why are you in business? Like me and Adam and so many others out there, right? You know, I mean, I am in business because I want to have an amazing quality of life. And like, that's such like a high level. I can like go into like what all that means and everything. But you know, like I want my business to be the thing that leads me to this amazing life, as opposed to my business being this thing that just is always stressing me out and is always, and so what is your why? Do you want to do you own your business today? And let's say that you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, where do you want to be 10 or 15 years from now? Do you still want to own the business? Do you want to be owning it, but you want to have it passive, or do you want to have an exit? Are you built, what is your why? Do you work to live, or do you live to work? That's always what is your why? And if you ask yourself, what is your why, then that will make you intentional with everything that you do in your day-to-day as a business owner. You don't want to just aimlessly go through the days, just grinding it out. This is life. This is life as a business owner, just a perpetual hamster wheel of grinding. That's owning a job. Building a business, work hard, work smart, working in your business, you're always going to work in your business to some extent, but just always ask yourself, what is the why? And when you lead and you finish with what is the why every day, then that makes you very intentional about making sure that you build a business, something that is sustainable, something that does have value, that a buyer will approach you at some point later on in the future. So Adam, thank you so much for being here, brother. I'm so excited. Shout out to Adam Baker. Shout out to Schooley Mitchell. Lots of great things coming. Stay tuned. Click that subscribe button. So many more. This isn't the last one that we're going to do. Me and Adam will be back. I'm going to bring Adam back. These conversations are so powerful. Stay tuned, everyone. Lots of great things coming your way from Swartz and Reader Advisors and Schooley Mitchell, Adam Baker, yours truly, Michael Reeder. Adam, thank you for being here. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Can I add one more thing before we go, Michael?
Yes, sir.
An important lesson in owning a business is admitting when you're wrong. Cordell Stewart was the quarterback of the Steelers in 1998. It was not Mike
Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, it was Slash. I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I'm thinking that might have been one of his last years. It was Slash. So I was wrong.
Stewart,
forgive me.
Hey, you know what? He was part of he joined the Bears. He was a Bears quarterback for a cup of tea at the end of his career. Cordell Stewart. Wow. Well, shout out to the Steelers. I don't know. Are you a Penguins fan or a Pirates fan too?
Okay. I am. Yeah. Oh, I'm embarrassed to admit I'm a Buccos fan.
Yeah. Hey, Pittsburgh. I've never been there. I'm gonna have to go after this episode. Again, so much content here, right? When I just admit when you're wrong, lead with humility, not ego, try to be the dumbest person in the room instead of the smartest person. These are all things that I've done. I've had a shift of mindset the last 3+ years, and these things have only benefited in my overall quality of life, just as an individual person, as my stress and the success of my business. Admit when you're wrong, lead with humility, not ego. We all have ego inside of us. We're human beings. But lead with humility, not ego, admit when you're wrong, try to be the dumbest person in the room, not the smartest person, and good things will happen. So Adam, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet.